Imagine, you're walking through one of America's most beautiful national parks with your family. The air is fresh. Lush green landscapes stretch as far as the eye can see. In the distance, boiling water shoots high into the sky. Tourists are smiling, taking photos. Everything feels peaceful. That you would never imagine. That beneath your feet lies one of the most powerful geological forces on Earth. A force so immense that if it ever awakens, it wouldn't just affect America. Its impact could be felt across the world. This place is called Yellowstone. Yellowstone National Park spreads across the US states of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. Every year, millions of people visit this incredible place. Some come to witness its famous geysers. Others come to explore its colorful hot springs. And many simply hope to catch a glimpse of bison, bears, and other wildlife. At first glance, Yellowstone looks like a paradise on Earth. But the real story of Yellowstone doesn't begin above the ground. It begins deep beneath it. Thousands of meters below the surface lies a massive reservoir of molten rock, known as magma. The intense heat from this magma is what powers Yellowstone's famous geysers. It's the reason boiling water erupts from the ground. And it's also why scientists closely monitor this entire region around the clock. But this raises an important question. If such a massive magma system exists beneath Yellowstone, why doesn't it erupt all the time? And more importantly, what exactly is a supervolcano? When we hear the word volcano, most of us imagine a tall mountain with glowing red lava flowing down its sides. But Yellowstone is nothing like that, and that's exactly what makes it so unique. The truth is, Yellowstone's volcano isn't visible above the ground at all, because what we usually think of as a volcano is only a small part of the entire system. Yellowstone's real power lies hidden far beneath the surface, thousands of meters underground. There is an enormous reservoir of molten rock. This molten rock is known as magma, and it's incredibly hot, reaching temperatures of around 700 to 900 degrees Celsius. This intense heat is what powers Yellowstone's famous geysers. It's why the hot springs remain warm all year round, and why some parts of the ground almost seem to breathe. But then, another question comes to mind. If there's so much magma beneath Yellowstone, why doesn't it erupt every year? The answer lies in pressure. As magma slowly rises toward the surface, gases begin to build up inside it. If that pressure is released gradually, the system remains stable. But if the pressure ever builds beyond its limit, nature can unleash an incredible amount of power. Today, Yellowstone may seem calm, but its history is anything but quiet. This land has unleashed incredible power before, powerful enough to reshape an entire continent. According to scientists, Yellowstone has experienced 3 massive eruptions throughout its history. The first eruption occurred around 2.1 million years ago. It was so powerful that volcanic ash traveled thousands of kilometers. Humans didn't exist on Earth at that time, but the rocks still preserved the evidence of that catastrophic event. Then, around 1.3 million years ago, Yellowstone erupted once again. And later, about 640,000 years ago, the third and most famous eruption took place. That eruption played a major role in shaping the Yellowstone National Park we see today. But this is where one of the biggest myths begins. Many people believe that Yellowstone erupts every 600,000 or 700,000 years. And since the last major eruption happened about 640,000 years ago, they assume it's overdue. But science doesn't support that idea. A volcano isn't an alarm clock. It doesn't erupt on a fixed schedule. Every eruption is different. And every magma system evolves in its own unique way. That's why, instead of predicting an exact date, scientists carefully monitor every sign of activity at Yellowstone. Every year, thousands of small earthquakes are recorded here. In some places, the ground slowly rises by a few centimeters. and in others, it gradually sinks back down. All of these are signs that Yellowstone is still a living volcanic system. But does being active really mean that it's about to erupt? Or has the internet made the story far more terrifying than it really is? The answer, you'll decide for yourself in the next part. We've learned that Yellowstone is an active supervolcano system. But now comes the biggest question. What if it actually erupts one day? What would happen first? Imagine, it's just an ordinary morning. Tourists are exploring Yellowstone National Park. Some are taking photos. Others are watching the famous geysers erupt. Everything seems completely normal. But deep beneath the ground, pressure is slowly building. Then, without warning, a powerful earthquake strikes. Not just one, but a series of strong tremors. Within moments, the ground could begin to crack open. Superheated gases, volcanic ash, and rocks could blast high into the sky at incredible speed. The ash cloud could rise so high that flying through the area would become extremely dangerous for aircraft. In the community surrounding Yellowstone, emergency evacuations could begin immediately. But the eruption itself wouldn't be the only challenge. The real challenge would be what comes next. Winds could carry volcanic ash across vast distances. Air quality in many regions could become dangerously poor. Roads could be closed. Flights could be canceled. Power grids and communication systems could also be disrupted. If enough ash reached the upper atmosphere, it could reduce the amount of sunlight reaching Earth's surface for a period of time. That could lead to cooler temperatures, and agriculture in some regions could be affected. But would this really mean the end of the world? Or has social media made the threat seem far more terrifying than it actually is? We'll answer that question in the final chapter of our story, Yellowstone, a name that attracts millions of visitors every year. But beneath all of that breathtaking beauty lies a force of nature that humanity still doesn't fully understand. But there's one thing you should always remember. Every year, the internet is flooded with headlines claiming that Yellowstone is about to erupt next week, or that the end of humanity is just around the corner. The truth is, there is no scientific evidence to support those claims. In reality, scientists monitor Yellowstone around the clock. Every earthquake, every movement of the ground, every gas emission, and every change in temperature is carefully recorded. And so far, there are no signs that Yellowstone is likely to erupt anytime soon.
A summer morning.
But science also teaches us something important. Nature should never be underestimated. That's why monitoring never stops. Research continues every single day. And every new discovery helps us better understand the hidden world beneath our feet. Perhaps Yellowstone will never erupt during our lifetime. If today's documentary changed the way you see Yellowstone, and you'd like to watch more scientifically accurate cinematic documentaries like this, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to turn on the notification bell